Rob, good morning. We've driven together down to Brighton this morning. It's great to see you again. Mm-hmm. By the way, we are being recorded. So just for sake of introduction, I'm going to announce my name is Nigel Grace. So I'm going to look at the camera. I'm Nigel Grace. I'm a teacher of Transcendental Meditation. I've been teaching this meditation for about 4 decades, and I love teaching. Scarcely a week passes when I'm not teaching. So it's very much a part of my life. This gentleman who's sitting on my left, yes, gentleman, Rob, please introduce yourself to everyone who's watching today.
Hi, well, my name's Rob Hamer, and I've been practicing Transcendental Meditation for just coming on 3.5 years. So, musician by trade, bit of a poet as well, and but more will be revealed. Over to you.
Now, the significant thing about us chatting today, Rob, is that we were sitting in these same 2 chairs in front of this camera 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think a lot of people may have watched that recording of our discussion. And so let me just go back 2 years just to recap, and then we'll move forward into our new discussion today. So 2 years ago, we were talking about how meditation, the essence of meditation, the practice of meditation, particularly this one, TM, Transcendental Meditation, helps with mental health.
Yeah.
You recall that conversation. Tell us a little bit. Let's go back 2 years. What were we talking about? Mental health.
Oh, goodness me. Well, I think I shared that my mental health diagnosis had come to me pretty late in life. So I had 3 diagnoses in one intensive session, and so one of them is one that's really rare, so I won't explain that one, but the other one was childhood trauma-induced PTSD, and the other one was major recurrent depression. So they said to me, Rob, you get depressed? I said, yeah, I know. And it's major when it happens. I said, yeah, I know. And but you're not depressed all the time? I said, yeah, I know. And so those the 3 diagnoses, but then in 2022, the major recurrent depression morphed and became bipolar. Thank goodness it was bipolar type 2, which is what they call a hypomanic state. You're not full-on bipolar type 1, which can be really, really difficult to manage with. But then last year, so in the 2 years since we saw each other, last February, I was diagnosed with moderate, bordering severe ADHD.
Right.
Now, a lot of people, it's quite controversial. Some people say it just doesn't exist. Some people say, well, it's all made up. And some people say, well, no, it's just an excuse for bad behaviour. And no, but it is a real thing. And, in order to be diagnosed, you've got to meet a particular threshold, and I met the threshold. So officially speaking, I've got 4 mental health conditions, and I've just finished 24 sessions of clinical psychology, which has been really interesting. But I think to summarize on the mental health thing is that, and I said this last year, so it's good to recap, the way that I describe my mind is like a box of frogs. They're just jumping up and down, like all the time. But when I do Transcendental Meditation, they go to sleep in the corner.
I have actually told people who I teach TM to that example or that illustration. Yeah. I think it's a very good analogy. A box of frogs jumping up and down. Yeah. And when the mind starts to settle down, when you start to practice this meditation, it's like the frogs go off to sleep in a corner. And it's so visual. I love it. So I've borrowed this many times to describe to people who then go on to learn meditation. I have a question for you, though. Since this is the first time we've met, since that time we were sitting here 2 years ago, Rob, is it still working for you? Are you still practicing? Have you been regular? You know, I know for me, I love practicing every day because it's just 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, the main reason I wanted to, we've talked over the 2 years, but the main reason I was keen to do this interview today is because I'm not as regular as I would like to be in my practice. And so, what do we do for people who struggle? I don't like to use the word discipline because it's got so many bad connotations to it, but just who struggle with being regular in the practice, and people who just drop the practice altogether. And I, when it comes up naturally in conversation, somebody will be saying to me, "Oh God, I'm stressed, so stressed," and I just say, "Well, do you ever meditate?" And "Oh yeah, I used to. I was introduced to a thing called Transcendental Meditation." "Oh really? Oh, I do TM." And well, what happened? Well, I I didn't meditate one day, and then I didn't meditate 1 week, and then I didn't meditate 1 month, and then I didn't meditate 1 year, and a friend of mine who lives in London is coming back because we just had a conversation the other day, and she said that, I said, did you get the mantra? "Oh yeah, I got the mantra." And she said, "Oh, I'd love to meditate again." I said, "Well, look, I'll just put you in touch with my teacher." And so she's getting together with Anna, and she's going to come back home.
This word coming back, I love that, coming back, because we never lose it.
We never lose it.
The practice itself is ours. Do you remember 2 years ago, I actually said this, or when we were in discussion, you remember the Beatles learnt to meditate.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't there, but I did.
You were pretty close.
But I did hear from someone who was there in India with Maharishi and the Beatles. And John Lennon apparently once said, "No one can ever take your mantra away from you. It's always yours." In this meditation, we have a mantra. And a mantra is simply that which calms the mind.
Yeah.
And it's something that goes quite deep in us. So even if we haven't meditated for a while, it's easy to come back. The other thing that I find really important is this particular type of meditation has a lot of support. So the teacher's always there, the community. I have a weekly group meditation. And I always say, if ever you have any questions, problems, just call me up and we can do a TM check or a refresher.
Yeah. Well, we've got this wonderful, we've relocated in London from Charing Cross up to just north of Oxford Circus, and we've got this fabulous new centre. And, we go to the teachings. We just do a group meditation. And it was really funny the other day because Pavel did it for you. And so he just went around the class and he says, "How's it going, everybody?" And, he came to me and I just said, "Do you know what? 80% of the time when I do my Transcendental Meditation, even if I had a really good night's sleep, I've had some breakfast, and, so I should to all intents and purposes be awake. I am awake, but then I do my meditation and 80% of the time I go to sleep." And he said, that's fine. Anyway, it came to we did the meditation, and it came to the teaching bit, and he stuck on a random DVD of the Maharishi. And this lady, young lady, asked the Maharishi, What about when people go to sleep in meditation? He says, oh, this shows that it's absolutely fine. They are doing the practice properly. It's just, and everybody looked at me and started laughing, because, it just calms me down. I'll recite the first verse of one of my poems about mental health, and it's just called My Mind. My mind is like a pack of cards scattered on the floor, mania and depression and the addiction that always wants more. You might think I'm crazy. You might even think I'm mad. But that you judge me without reason makes me feel rather sad. And my mind is like a pack of cards scattered on the floor. And I've mentioned the word addiction, and as we know from 2 years ago, I've struggled since childhood with addictive tendencies. I'm just kind of sort of one of those people who can be a bit obsessive and addictive about things, and there's simply no question about the fact. So, I'm in a 12-step fellowship for addiction based on Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps. And, step 11 is practice through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. It's practice through prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation for recovering addicts is huge. Mm-hmm. It's huge. Because if we're not centered, we're just down that road, and that road's not a good road. And so, I'm rambling.
What I like from what you were saying, Rob, is I'm hearing you talk, and I'm sort of interpreting this as, oh yes, this is why I'm a teacher of TM. This is why I love teaching it, because no one should feel that they can't meditate. I feel, from my point of view as someone who's practiced this meditation for many years, but also as a teacher, that I turn no one away, because this meditation is natural. It's easy. Some people say to me after they hear about the benefits of transcendental meditation, which are many, not just calm, not just relaxation, but the growth of joy, the growth of happiness in life. And some people say to me, Nigel, this sounds wonderful, but it'll never work for me. And I say, why not? And they say, because my mind never stops. I never stop thinking. And I say, well, then you'll be the perfect person to learn this meditation, because it's a natural, easy, effortless technique in which our awareness, our attention opens to quieter levels of our thinking process, of our consciousness. And I give the analogy, your analogy is one of a box of frogs. My analogy is one of swimming in the sea, just off Brighton, where we are now. And sometimes the water can be a bit choppy. But if we were just to dive a few feet, sink a few feet below the choppy waves, suddenly the water, the ocean, gets very calm and quiet. The reason why this analogy is helpful, because it's similar to the human mind. On our active level of thinking, we're thinking, always thinking. But with this technique, we do actually experience a moment in which the mind, or perhaps to be more accurate, our awareness begins to open to quieter, deeper levels of that thinking process. So we don't try to calm the mind. We don't try to stop thinking. It doesn't work. We just bring our awareness to that deeper level which already is quieter beneath. And that's why I find every time I teach, I actually witness the person sitting there in the chair, learning the meditation, experiencing that quietness, which is enormously fulfilling for me as a teacher.
Well, it happened to me on the train today. So I didn't get time this morning to do my meditation before I left the house. And so it was an hour's journey down from London. And so I just put my back up against it and just shut my eyes and just waited for 30 seconds and let the mantra come. And I became aware of the train. So I'd been so focused on my mobile phone, checking all my WhatsApps, emails, and all the rest of it, all this mindless activity. Well, some of it's important. But, like checking the football results. But it's all activity. So I just went into the mantra, and I suddenly became aware of the gentle movement, the rocking of the train, and just the sounds and the noise of it all. And suddenly everything went quiet. Inside me, everything went quiet. Nice and calm. And I could just feel the movement of the train. It was wonderful. Why wouldn't I want to do that more regularly? But there we go.
This is why it's very practical.
Yeah.
We can practice this meditation anywhere. And the wonderful thing is, even though it's a mental technique, the body is profoundly affected. So we start to feel greater relaxation. Our breathing settles down. Heart rate settles down. Imagine doing this every day. People come to me and say, my readings of my blood pressure have normalized. Which is amazing. But the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Rob, and you hinted at this just now because you recited one of your poems. Yeah. It's about creativity. Yeah. And I know also you are a musician. You don't have your guitar with you today.
Well, we should brought it.
Right. But I find that with this experience of dipping into the inner silence, when we come out, we start to feel more alive, more awake. And this leads to a growth in creativity. This is what I find. And I would like to ask you, over the last couple of years, how have you found the meditation, your music, your poetry, your creativity? Any thoughts in that regard?
Well, a lot of thoughts, which are related to the mental health. So people who are diagnosed with bipolar tend to be pretty creative. The two go together. And when I moved out of a period of major recurrent depression, which lasted for 3 years, I didn't play clarinet, piano, or guitar at all. I didn't even like listening to music. It was for 3 years, and then it changed into bipolar, became hypomania. But then I started the creativity again, and it was phenomenal. And in that year that you and I met, I wrote in 2024. I wrote 63 songs. It was more than one a week. But so the creativity, and I've written over 180 works in 4 years. And so my creativity has been wonderful. Whether that's had anything to do with practicing meditation, I don't know. But I've been through this, and I'm still in this wonderful period of creativity.
Yes, and I like that. You don't know. Is it Transcendental Meditation? I don't know. I often think, who cares? Yeah. Your creativity is blossoming. Let's just rejoice there.
The most important thing, whether I'm creative or not, the most important thing for me is my mental health.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important. And, I'm still playing football. This June I'll be 72, but I'm still playing football every Sunday, 7-a-side in Balham, with a bunch of guys who are half my age and under. And playing football is for me like meditation, because when I get on a football field, I'm only interested in one thing. That's space. Am I in space? Are you in space? And that's a bit like Transcendental Meditation, because I just have a one-word mantra. I don't need to be interested in anything else. I think I said to you in the interview 2 years ago, I tried the Headspace app. I've got nothing against the Headspace app. It works for millions of people. You know, I tried Buddhist meditation. I joined a Buddhist community for 6 months. I used to go to meditation meetings on a Thursday evening. It just didn't work. I tried these guided meditations on YouTube. Nothing's working. I can't stop thinking. But then I heard through somebody, an author, about his practice of transcendental meditation, and I knew something about this author, and I thought, well, you know, if it works for you, wow, you know, maybe it could work for me. So I went and went to an introductory talk given by Anna, and it all made sense, and I received the instruction, and then everything changed. And I remember telling you 2 years ago that, you know, the first time that my mind went completely quiet, you know, I knew I hadn't been asleep, but I hadn't been thinking anything either. And I remember I burst into tears. It's funny, actually, I feel emotional about it now, because when you've got a mind like mine, it is so profound when that mind goes quiet.
We sometimes use a term for this experience called transcendental consciousness, or simply being.
Yeah.
It's where in our meditation, the mind, or rather our awareness, our consciousness, is experienced by itself, beyond or deeper than our thoughts. But we're not asleep. We're awake inside.
Yeah.
But the mind is at rest. The body is in a deep state of relaxation. And that happens naturally within transcendental meditation. And when we come out from that, we feel infused with intelligence, infused with creativity and joy.
Yeah.
Let me just say, we've been chatting for a while. This is a great recap, a great coming together again after 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to be back chatting with you, knowing that you're still in the practice, even though sometimes it's dropped away, but you can always come back. Always come back. Like coming home, yes.
It's like having a home that's always there.
Yes.
You know, the practice is always there. My friend this morning, she sent me a text, and she just said, you know, I've not been doing it. I feel bad. And I feel really sad about that, because none of us should ever feel bad about the fact that we're not practicing regularly. We just, you know, it's just like having a loving parent to go back to. It's a home that's always there. I mean, I get the feeling that we're coming towards the end of our discussion. So, the one thing that I want to reinforce, another thing I'd like to reinforce, is that this mnemonic, you remember the mnemonic from 2 years ago?
I remember that, but to tell us again.
It's just the word C.
Okay.
S-E-E.
Right.
S. Transcendental meditation is very simple.
Simple.
It's like a one-word mantra. I can't complicate it. Number 2, transcendental meditation is really easy.
E.
Like I don't have to do anything. E, it's easy. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to sit in a certain position. I don't have to sit with my cross-legged on the floor, make my hips hurt. You could do it lying down. I mean, it's recommended that you sit upright, but you know, if you want to do it lying down, it's easy. And because it's simple and easy, it's effective.
Another E. Right.
It's S-E-E. It's simple, it's easy, it's effective. It's as simple as 2 + 2 = 4. It's, what more can I say?
Well, let's not make it 2 years again. Let's check in again
bring my guitar.
sooner. Bring your guitar. And thank you, Rob, very much for coming here today. Enjoyed this experience of talking to you. And I'm very happy to know that you are open and clear about mental health, about ADHD, and about how a practice of transcendental meditation is not a cure for anything, but it's there to help us live a happier life. Would you say?
Yeah.
I'll give you the final words. Go.
The final words. Well, remembering our conversation of 2 years ago, when I first started practicing transcendental meditation, I would find myself laughing in the middle of meditation. I would find myself laughing. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but I think human beings need stuff in life. Number one, we all need to be loved and to love other people. And the other thing is we've lost a sense of joy. The world is such an angry place now. There's so much angst and anger about, and we've lost that sense of joy. And I think that TM can bring us back to a sense of joy.
Thank you.
We'll leave it there.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Brilliant.